So it's transfer deadline day, and it looks like it's going to be a really busy one this time. We've had a couple of quiet deadline days in recent seasons, but there are so many big names now that are in uncertain situations at their clubs that I think it's going to be quite a dramatic end to the day. Now, for me, the biggest deal, although we're talking about Ivan Toney maybe going to Saudi Arabia, I think the biggest deal is Raheem Sterling. Now, Raheem Sterling, 29 years old, multiple winner at Man City, recently out of the England squad as we know under Gareth Southgate, but he wants to get his way back in. Now at Chelsea, and Chelsea have made it clear to him that he has no future at the club, despite the fact he has a 3-year remaining on his £300,000 a week contract. So Chelsea put themselves in a situation there with Sterling, which is kind of endemic of the modern game. And I think this is the sort of transfer we're now going to see quite a lot of it in the windows to come, because clubs that give players huge contracts, change the manager, decide they don't want the players anymore, and then they have to find a way out. Now, Chelsea are taking quite an extreme approach to Sterling, because they've told him he's no future at the club, he'll train with the reserves, he won't play. So what happens when you have a player that's got 3 years left on a contract, which is worth so much money? You're talking about maybe over £35 million is still due on his contract. Now, how did Chelsea find a way to get him out of the club? I've been told that Chelsea may be prepared to subsidise up to half of that contract to get him out of the door, to get Sterling a move. We've seen that Man United have been linked with Sterling, Arsenal have now been offered Raheem Sterling, Juventus, teams in Saudi Arabia. Sterling doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia, he wants to stay in the Premier League. So how did Chelsea say to an interested club, take Raheem Sterling, oh, by the way, he's on a huge contract? So they have to be creative, but Chelsea have signed lots of players, as we know, on long-term contracts, and some of those players aren't basically delivering the goods. So in the next few windows, you might find that Chelsea, once again, are trying to offload players who have maybe 5, 6, 7 years left on their contracts at decent wages. So Chelsea have put themselves in this situation. It's a kind of symbol of the kind of mismanagement we've seen at the club over the last 2 years since the takeover. But Sterling is kind of the embodiment of that, and he hasn't asked to leave. He doesn't want to leave. He would rather stay and fight for his place, but it looks like he will find a way out. Now, I expect Sterling to move today. I think there's too much at stake both for the player and for the club for him not to move. But does he go to Arsenal? Does he go to Man United? Does he go somewhere else? One option on the table is that a swap deal between Jadon Sancho from United and Sterling at Chelsea. At the moment, it looks like both clubs would rather do something else. But I do think that as the window, as the deadline approaches, it is an option that makes a lot of sense. You know, Sterling would go to United and they would cover maybe half his wages. Chelsea takes Sancho on a shorter contract, a younger player. Maybe they can subsidise his wages as well with United and find a way to make the deal work. It's complicated, but because players are on such big money now, it's not as simple as saying, you're leaving, here's a deal, move on. But I think Raheem Sterling is the player that will I think he's the one that will kind of symbolise this window in the sense of the way that the game is changing and the way the window is changing, that clubs are now prepared to make these kind of ruthless decisions and find a way financially to do it, but it won't be easy. You know, Sterling is a big name player, will attract only a certain level of clubs. So can they get a deal over the line? I think that Chelsea will. I think Sterling will get a move, but it could be very close to the deadline. It will take some creative business to get it done.